What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 4 of the Mandalorian review. Of course, that means we're covering Chapter 4, Sanctuary, episode number 4 from the Mandalorian. A lot of people have been talking about this on the internet, whether or not the Mandalorian is the greatest Star Wars that we've received in the Disney era. I'll say it's pretty damn close to the best that we have gotten. I don't know what is the best. I love the movies, guys, so, there's that. But we could have a whole episode as to what exactly is the best Star Wars that we've gotten under the Disney era. And I'm not going to be surprised if a lot of people think it's The Mandalorian, and it might be. But again, Rebels has been amazing. The movies have been pretty freaking awesome as well. And so we could have the discussion at another time. But Sanctuary, episode number 4, we have the first time that we have this new character named Cara Dune. She is, let's just say, a bad motherfucker. Played by, of course, the amazing Gina Carano, former UFC fighter turned actress. If you don't know who she is, you've definitely seen her in Deadpool. She's wickedly amazing, and I think they're going to use her fighting abilities, as they did in this episode, in future installments, moving along with each episode we see in The Mandalorian that she's in. This is an episode that I think, given the events that occurred in the previous episode, was a kind of a nice way to move away from the seriousness of bounty hunting, right? Bounty hunting is a complicated profession, as we know, and every now and then you gotta get away. And that's what they were looking to do over here. Even says it in the beginning of the episode that, hey, no one's gonna find us here. And so they get this idea that they're gonna be safe in this new location. We realized, though, that this is the same location that the episode opens up with, and it's a location that has been attacked by a certain creature species. I don't remember their name. It says it in the... If you see, I watched the show with the credits on. Subtitles on, sorry. I watched the show with the subtitles on, so I like to see people's names while they talk, before they talk, and so I get an understanding of who they are. Clearly that hasn't helped me because I don't remember what the species name is. But they are... it just looks like they're another badass group trying to get in and survive. Their way of surviving is ransacking another... They're sort of like barbarians. Another way of them surviving is destroying the town of very polite and good people. We get an understanding that these people pretty much only know how to fish, how to farm, and we get that idea and we get that understanding when it's time to train them to fight. It seems like none of them know how to do any of this. None of them have held a gun before, except for the girl's mother. And that's an interesting insight, possibly into that woman's background, where maybe she has come from. Who is she? Maybe there's more to her than just... than meets the eyes, they say, right? So who is she? Who can she be involved with? I don't know. Is she a former rebel? Is she part of the Empire? Does she just know how to fight because her ancestors? I don't know. But it seems like no one else in that clan knows how to defend themselves. So it's very interesting that she did. Again, we are introduced to this mother and daughter team, and curious. Maybe there was more. Maybe there's more to this story than just we're gonna open the episode with a cold open like this. Maybe there's more to this than I know. Maybe they said it in the episode and I just don't remember. But as the episode progresses, we see that this widow is kind of falling for the Mandalorian, and we don't. Does it come off as forced? I don't think so. Maybe it's just natural. Her curiosity as to who this man is. Why is he here to help? And yes, he's Mandalorian, so there's some sort of mystique behind him. Some sort of mystery. And she falls for that. And she quickly wants him to be involved in um, the everyday goings at the town in the town, but as well as maybe becoming romantically involved with this Mandalorian. But as we find out, and it kind of confirms my suspicion again, I think they were leading towards this. He's not Mandalorian. They take care of him. They took care of him, and he has more or less embodied the livelihood, the way of life of these individuals, of these Mandalorians, and that's a lot of people. A lot of people in the Star Wars universe. Think about it. The three most famous Mandalorians aren't Mandalorians. We got the Mandalorian guy. That's what we're going to call him, Mando. Boba Fett and Jango Fett aren't Mandalorians. And yet, they are what we think of when we think of a Mandalorian. And so it's really fascinating that the three big Mandalorians in Star Wars are not necessarily Mandalorian. Of course, we have Sabine Wren from Rebels, but she's not in the same zeitgeist, if I will, when it comes to thinking of a Mandalorian. But of course, she is actually a Mandalorian from Mandalore, and so she definitely counts in that discussion. But not as many people may know about her or her story. Anyway, back to this episode. So, I'm just jumping around here because I didn't write any notes down, and I felt like that was the best way to talk about this episode. We get more of an understanding again of who he is. Each episode, we build more and more and more about the mystique, about the mystery, about the curiosity that is Mando. We think we're going to get to see him with the helmet off in this episode, but of course, that is just a tease. He's eating his food, and it's nothing more than that. We think we're going to see it again when the woman, the widow, tries to take his mask off, his helmet off. Of course, doesn't occur. He says he's this is not a place for him. He doesn't belong here. And it's just these teases that we're getting early on, though. It's like, remember, we're halfway through the season now. Season 1's halfway done. And so we have only 4 more episodes left, about 4 or 5 weeks left, because there's going to be some sort of gap, I think, between Rise of Skywalker, and we'll keep you noted about that. But it's this building of this I don't want to call it tension, because I don't think it's tense, but it's this, and I'm blanking on something, but it's just this building of this curiosity of who this man is. What is it that he has to offer us as the viewers by showing us his face. And they joke about it in the show. They joke about it about how, well, what happens if you take your mask off? Do they come after you? He's like, no, I just can't ever put it back on again. And I find that so interesting. You know, I don't know too much about the lore of the Mandalorians. Maybe Antonio could talk about this in a future episode. But again, I don't. And even if it's EU stuff, that's not what I'm concerned about now, because that's not what's canon anymore. I'm curious of what does that mean? He can't put it back on anymore? Why not? Why can't you put the mask on, the helmet back on? Shouldn't it be just so simple, and no one should care that, oh, he took it off, okay, he's going to put it back on? I find that very interesting, very complicated, I guess, for them. I guess it's a very complicated situation for them. For me, I think it's so simple. You put it back on, and that's it. No one should care that you took it off. You took it off, put it back on. Very interesting insight as to what that means. And I want to know what it means. Going forward, maybe they could tell us why is that so. Maybe they've told us already. I just don't know. And so these individuals come back and they fight them, and they're successful. And again, the question about Yoda, the baby Yoda, arises as to who is he, what is he, why, he seems so at peace with these children. He seems so at home with these kids that were playing with him, and he fit in perfectly. And then, of course, there's a tracker tracking him, and they're going to continue to come, as they say. Many people are still looking for Baby Yoda. And again, who is he? What does it mean? Is he related to Yoda in the sense that that's Yoda's child? Is it Yoda's nephew? If it's Yoda's nephew, where's Yoda's sister? Or brother? These are the questions that hopefully at some point will be answered. Also, if it's Yoda's son, think about it. If it's Yoda's son, let's try to do the math. This is all in my head, so give me some time. If I'm not mistaken, episode 4 to episode 6, A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, is roughly about 5 years. Roughly, I think. You go from that time period to 5+ years from Return of the Jedi to the moments and events of The Mandalorian. So that's 10 years. Okay. You add in the 19 years from Revenge of the Sith to Return of the Jedi. So you're looking at... So 19 plus 10 is, of course, 29. So you're looking at 29 years. Okay. Baby Yoda's apparently 50. I don't remember... I think from episode 1 to episode 2, it's 10 years. But from episode 2 to episode 3, I don't remember the time gap. So at some point around episode 1 to episode 2, this baby was born, if I'm not mistaken. If I did the math correctly, and again, I don't know if I did, I just did it in my head. This baby was born pre-Attack of the Clones. So, what does that mean? That means that Yoda was also 50 years younger, so he was either... Because I don't think there's a definite age that Yoda died at. Let's say he died at 900, sorry. He was 850. 855, right? When he had the kid. Or, whatever. If he was 850, he was, we don't know the exact age. I don't think that's ever been determined. I know he mentions, I think he's 8, I don't know. I'm blanking on my Star Wars canon history, and I'm sorry because I don't mean to do that when I talk about an episode like The Mandalorian. I talk about canon stuff like The Mandalorian, but I'm curious to know what you guys think about this episode. Go to factsnotincluded.com/forum. I want you guys to talk about the episode on there. I want you guys to talk to me about what you thought about the episode, what did you think about the episode. It's really interesting stuff that we've been seeing here on The Mandalorian. I want you guys to check it out and talk to each other. Talk to each other on the forum. You don't have to talk to us. You can talk to each other on there. Or if you want to talk to us, also talk to us on there. But you can also hit us up at factsnotincluded@gmail.com. It's a great way to get in contact with us, or DM us at Twitter, on Twitter, or through Facebook. You can hit us up through a message through there as well. But this episode is really interesting because it's directed by none other than Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't know why I had such a hard time saying her name. Bryce Dallas Howard. So that's a hard name to say. I just realized that. Bryce Dallas Howard. Okay. I don't know why I'm having such a rough time with that. But anyway, of course, the daughter of the amazing Ron Howard, who directed, of course, Solo, recovering that film from the debacle that it was dealing with Lord and Miller. Is it the best directed Star Wars episode that we've seen so far? Maybe. But I'll have to argue with number 3. Episode 3. I don't know what she's directed in the past. I don't want to know. I'll at the moment, I don't want to know. I'll say that she has a future. I'll tell you that. You could tell that she's learned a lot from her father. It was an episode that was made with passion, with heart. I don't think they she tried to cut corners on this episode. I think she sat down with her actors and said, "Give me the best that you got." The acting that she got from that widow, I'm not getting her name because I don't know if they gave her a name. But the acting they got from her was excellent. The people in the town, it's just a well-made episode, and I don't know if I don't know if it goes completely to Bryce, or some's got to go to Filoni. Maybe some's got to, of course, some's got to go to Jon Favreau, but a well-made episode. Probably the best directed so far this season. Again, I think number 3 has it beat there, but we'll see. I don't know if there's more to be done with Bryce Dallas Howard going forward. I don't know if she's directing anymore, but I'm looking forward to see more of that. But each episode, I think what we should do going forward for the rest of the season is talking about the director and their style and what they have to offer in The Mandalorian. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this series. It's a test. It's a breeding ground, if you will, for talent. Proven talent in some cases, like Deborah Chow, but unproven talent like Bryce Dallas Howard, who is continuing to get her feet wet. Directing, again, I don't know what she's done in the past. I'm sure she's done. Well, watch me find out that she's done 40 episodes of TV. Who knows? I don't know, but I know I know her more as an actress. A pretty darn good one too, but I know her more as an actress. The Mandalorian has proven to be an experiment, of course, starting with Dave Filoni and episode 1. Granted, maybe not the best when it comes to live action, but it gave you that animated feel that we haven't, and that's where you could tell the difference between directing. We haven't quite gotten that animated feel, maybe since episode 2. I think episode 2 is kind of where there was a lot of that animation style still, but you could see the difference between 1 and 2. You could see the difference between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4, and vice versa. You could throw all the numbers in there. And that's fine. That's fine, because as long as there's this cohesiveness to all of them, and there is, they all feel like Star Wars, number 1. They all feel like the show The Mandalorian. And so, fine, artistic integrity, right? Do what you got to do. But again, we could talk more about directors going forward. Nothing quite happens in this episode that makes me go, oh my god, spoilers. Again, it's just more story building. It's more understanding of the deepness that this character can bring. What is there to him, and just also not just the Mandalorian character, but also Baby Yoda. What does this character have to bring to us? Again, more questions raised than answered in regards to Baby Yoda. Another solid, maybe even awesome episode of The Mandalorian. There's not much to say going forward. I'm curious of what's going to happen next, though. Again, like we said with the last episode, I didn't know where they were going to go next. And look, they went to some sort of sanctuary. They went to some location where they thought they were going to be safe. And I feel like each episode's going to be that way. Each episode's going to be like, all right, we're good. No, we're not. Okay, peace out. We're bye, And that's kind of, I think, what each episode's going to be like. I'm curious how they're going to end season 1, and what does that mean for season 2. But again, we're only halfway through season 1, and so hey, we have time. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk about Mandalorian Sanctuary. Sorry I didn't go into super details this time. I promise you that for the next one, but I know I did that for the previous one. I think you guys enjoyed that one, so I'll go super heavy next time as well with episode number 5. Again, if you want to talk The Mandalorian, just head over to Facts Not Included. That's factsnotincluded.com/forum. Just click on the TV show section, and then we'll talk The Mandalorian on there. You guys can talk The Mandalorian all you want. And if you want, you hit us up at factsnotincluded@gmail.com as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves and enjoyed The Mandalorian. next episode is episode number 5. Peace out. Bye bye.